The huge insect-like ships of the Keltar Dominion appeared at the edge of human space without warning. One moment, the outer sensors showed empty black nothing. The next moment, dozens of massive shapes blocked the stars. The lead ship was bigger than any human vessel ever built. Its hull looked like black chitin covered in glowing blue veins. It sent a message across every channel in perfect translated galactic standard. People of the Sol system, the Keltar Dominion claims this region. You have one cycle to surrender all weapons, technology, and control of your worlds. Refuse, and we will remove you. The message ended with a symbol that meant finality in their language. On Earth, leaders gathered in underground bunkers. Military officers, scientists, and politicians stared at screens showing the Armada. No one spoke for a long minute. Then someone whispered, "They really think we will just give up." Ambassador Elena Voss was chosen to answer. She was not young, but her eyes were sharp and calm. She boarded a small courier ship with no guns and no armor. The ship looked like a silver needle against the monster fleet. Humans watched from every station and colony as it flew out to meet the dreadnought. The couriers stopped at a safe distance. Elena opened the channel herself. Her voice came through clear and steady. "We hear your words. We understand your claim. We say no. We do not give our homes, our tools, or our freedom. You will not take them. This is your only warning. Do not cross our border. Do not test us." Silence followed. Then a sound came back from the Keltar ship. It started low and grew. It was their version of laughter, sharp clicks and hisses that made human ears hurt. The commander of the dreadnought spoke next. "Small, soft things. You speak boldly for one so new to the stars. We have taken stronger races than you. We will return in 3 cycles. Prepare your tribute, or prepare your graves." The Armada turned and left. The beacons they dropped behind broadcast the same demand over and over. Sol system is forfeit. Resistance brings death. Surrender brings mercy. Elena returned to Earth. The courier ship landed quietly. People waited outside the landing pad. They did not cheer. They just watched her step out. She looked at them and said, "We told them the truth. Now we wait and see if they listen." 3 cycles passed quietly on the surface. Humans went to work, built ships, mined asteroids, raised children. Life continued. But under that normal life, something else moved. Fast, small ships left the inner system in secret patterns. Sleeper drones woke in the dark, beyond Pluto. Old satellites shifted position without anyone giving orders. The Keltar did not wait long. Their second fleet arrived exactly on time. 200 warships, heavy with troops and weapons. They crossed the line at the edge of the solar wind without pause. Scouts reported no defenses. No fleets rose to meet them. No missiles flew. The Armada commander felt sure this would be easy. Quick addition to the Empire. They moved deeper. Mars came into view first. The red planet looked small and quiet. The fleet took positions around it. Dropships prepared to land. Soldiers in thick armor checked their rifles. They knew the drill. Land, secure the surface, set up bases, wait for the next wave. Earth would follow. The first dropship touched down on the dusty plain near an old human research station. Soldiers poured out. They scanned for threats. Nothing moved. The commander ordered a perimeter set up. Then every suit radio crackled. A voice spoke in their own language, soft and clear. "You were warned." The soldiers froze. They looked at each other. No one had spoken. The voice came again. "Do not cross us." It was not loud. It was inside their helmets, inside their heads. The commander shouted, "Cut the channel. Someone find the source." No one could. Nothing jammed the signal. The voice kept repeating, "You were warned. Do not cross us." Soldiers started to shake. Some dropped weapons. Fired at shadows. Officers tried to regain control. Then one soldier turned and shot his squad mate. The others turned on him. Chaos spread fast. On the command ship, the admiral watched the feed. He saw his troops kill each other. He ordered retreat. The dropships lifted off half-empty. Bodies lay on the red sand. The admiral felt cold fear for the first time in his long life. Reports came from other places. Scout ships vanished. Supply ships stopped answering. Entire sections of the fleet went dark. The admiral ordered full sensors active. They found nothing. No enemy ships, no explosions, just silence where ships should be. A new message arrived. It came from everywhere at once. The screen showed a simple human face. No smile, no anger, just calm eyes. The face spoke, "We told you once. We will not tell you again. Leave now or lose everything." The admiral stared at the screen. He remembered the laughter from the first meeting. He no longer laughed. He gave the order, "Pull back. All ships, retreat to the borderline." The fleet turned slowly. Many ships never moved. They drifted dead in space. Engines cold, weapons silent. The survivors fled. They left the solar system faster than they came. The beacons they dropped earlier now showed new words in bright letters. "Humanity warned you. Don't cross us." Back on Earth, people watched the retreat from stations and homes. No one celebrated yet. They knew this was only the start. The Keltar would come again, and when they did, humans would be ready. Elena Voss stood on a balcony, looking at the night sky. Stars shone bright. She thought about the warning she gave. She thought about the cost still to come. She whispered to the dark, "We gave them the choice. They chose wrong." The galaxy waited. It watched the small blue world on the edge. It wondered what kind of creatures lived there. Creatures who spoke softly and then broke empires without raising a loud voice. The warning had been given. The line had been drawn. Crossed it once. They would learn soon what happened when they tried again. Humans did not want war. They wanted peace. But if war came, they would fight in ways no one expected. Ways that used patience, cunning, and a cold, unbreakable will. The stars stayed quiet. For now. Word count 1,200. The Keltar Armada returned stronger than before. 200 warships moved through the dark like a swarm of angry beetles. Their hulls shone under starlight. Engines hummed with power. Dropships waited inside, ready to pour soldiers onto human worlds. The commander, Admiral Vexthar, stood on the bridge. He remembered the laughter from the first meeting. Now he felt no amusement. He wanted revenge. They crossed the border at the heliopause. No alarms sounded. No human ships appeared to block them. Sensors showed only quiet mining stations and empty trade routes. Vexthar ordered full speed ahead. The fleet spread out. Mars glowed red ahead. Jupiter loomed large behind it. Earth stayed hidden behind the sun for now. Scout ships flew forward first. They found nothing unusual. A few human probes drifted in lazy orbits. The scouts tagged them as harmless. Then one scout vanished. Its last signal showed a flicker, then silence. The admiral frowned. He sent more scouts. They too went quiet. The reports stopped. Vexthar growled. "Low-level failures," he said. "Probably old equipment left behind. Keep moving." The main fleet pressed on. They reached Mars orbit without trouble. The planet looked peaceful. Red dust swirled in thin wind. Cities sat under clear domes. Humans walked streets as if nothing happened. Dropships launched in waves. Thousands of warriors in heavy armor fell toward the surface. They landed near the biggest dome, New Cairo. The soldiers marched out, weapons ready. They expected fear. They expected surrender. Instead, the streets stayed empty. No crowds gathered. No one ran. No shots came from hidden places. The commander on the ground ordered advance. Teams split up. They entered buildings. They checked tunnels. They found food still warm. Chairs pushed back. Tools left on tables. It looked like everyone left in a hurry. The soldiers felt uneasy. They spoke little. Their mandibles clicked in nervous rhythm. Then the first strange thing happened. Walking. He stared at a blank wall. His helmet showed nothing there. Yet he whispered, "No, no, get away." He raised his rifle and fired at empty air. His squadmates turned. They saw him shoot shadows. They tried to pull him down. He fought back. He screamed about eyes in the dark. More warriors started acting strange. One dropped his weapon and ran. Another turned and shot his friend. The commander shouted orders, "Stop this madness. It is a trick. Find the source." But no one listened. Chaos grew. Soldiers killed soldiers. Some ran into walls. Some tore at their own armor. Blood spilled on clean floors. Up on the command ship, Vexthar watched the feeds. He saw his best troops turn on each other. He slammed his claw on the console. "What is this?" he roared. "Some kind of gas? Some poison?" The science officer shook his head. "No trace of chemicals. No bioagents. Nothing we can detect." Then a new sound filled every speaker in the fleet. A calm human voice spoke. "You were warned. Do not cross us." Slow and clear. They came from inside helmets, from ship walls, from personal comms. No one could shut them off. Vexthar ordered all channels closed. Nothing worked. The voice kept coming. It whispered now, soft like a secret. "You should have listened. Now you pay." The admiral felt cold inside his shell. He had fought many wars. He had crushed many races. This felt different. This felt wrong. Reports came fast. Supply ships disappeared near the asteroid belt. One moment they flew steady. The next they were gone. No debris, no distress call, just empty space. Scout drones sent back broken images. Small human ships darted in and out. They looked ugly, fast and sharp. They fired once, then vanished into nothing. Vexthar sent fighters after them. The fighters found shadows. They chased ghosts. Their sensors screamed warnings, then went dark. Entire squadrons stopped answering. The admiral felt his fleet shrink without a single big battle. On Mars, the ground force collapsed. The last soldiers huddled in a dome. They barricaded doors. They prayed to old gods. The voice spoke again. This time it laughed. Not cruel, just tired. "You crossed the line. Now you learn." Outside the dome, something moved. Shadows stretched long under red sun. Small machines crawled across dust. They looked like insects made of metal. They carried no guns. They just watched. The soldiers fired at them. Bullets sparked off shells. The machines did not fight back. They waited. Then the machines hummed. A low sound that grew. It shook the ground. It shook bones inside armor. The soldiers inside the dome screamed. They clawed at helmets. They tore eyes. They fell one by one. The dome went quiet. Vexthar pulled what remained of his troops back to ships. He left bodies behind. He left equipment. He ordered full retreat. The fleet turned clumsy. Many ships limped. Engines damaged by unseen attacks. Others drifted dead. Crews gone mad or gone missing. A final message came as they fled. It showed no face, just black space and white. Words, "Humanity warned you. Do not cross us." The words burned into every screen. They stayed, even after power cycled. The survivors limped back to Keltar space. They carried stories. Stories of voices in heads. Stories of ships vanishing. Stories of soldiers killing friends. The Empire leaders listened. They did not laugh this time. They looked worried. Word spread through the galaxy. Other races heard. The small humans on the edge did something. No one knew what, but the mighty Keltar ran. They ran from a fight they started. On Earth, people watched the retreat again. Stations tracked every ship that left. No one cheered loud. They nodded. They worked harder. Ships left ports in secret patterns. Sleeper probes woke in far places. Old plans moved forward. Elena Voss stood in a quiet room. She looked at star maps. The red line of the border glowed bright. She traced it with one finger. "They came once," she said. "They will come again." Next time we show them more. The small system, it whispered about humans, creatures who did not shout. They warned. They waited. Then they broke things in silence. The Keltar licked wounds. They rebuilt. They planned bigger fleets. They told themselves it was just bad luck. They lied to themselves. They knew deep down something new lived in Saul. Something patient. Something cold. Something that remembered every warning ignored. The lines stayed drawn. The humans stayed quiet. For now. Word count 1,200. The Keltar Empire could not accept defeat so easily. Their pride ran deep like roots in ancient stone. The Emperor himself spoke from the throne room on the homeworld. His voice carried across every ship and every colony. We will not run from insects. We will crush them. The Grand Armada will sail. Every resource, every warrior, every weapon goes to Saul. No mercy this time. No retreat. Thousands of ships gathered. The largest fleet the galaxy had seen in centuries. Hulls painted black and gold. Engines roared like thunder. They carried planet breakers, huge cannons that could crack worlds. They carried billions of troops in cryosleep. They carried hope for quick victory. Admiral Vexthar led again. He asked for the command. He wanted to finish what he started. The Emperor granted it. Vexthar stood on the flagship bridge. His mandibles clicked in determination. This time we bring everything, he said. This time they break. The Armada crossed deep space. It took many cycles to reach the edge of human territory. Scouts went first. They found the borderline, the same thin zone where the first fleet failed. Vexthar ordered sensors at maximum. Nothing unusual appeared. No fleets, no stations, no traps. The Armada pushed forward. They reached the outer planets first. Neptune, Uranus, Saturn. The gas giants looked calm. Rings spun slow. Moons drifted quiet. The fleet spread out to secure positions. Supply lines stretched long behind them. Vexthar felt strong. Numbers favored him. Technology favored him. Experience favored him. Then the first ship vanished. A heavy cruiser on flank duty. 1 second it transmitted status. The next second its beacon went dark. No explosion, no distress, no trace. Vexthar sent investigators. They found empty space. The cruiser gone like smoke. More ships followed. One by one, sections of the fleet disappeared. Entire battle groups stopped answering. Communications filled with static, then silence. Vexthar roared for reports. Officers ran between consoles. Found nothing. The vanished ships left no wreckage, no energy signatures, no clues. A pattern emerged. The losses happened in empty zones, far from planets, far from known human outposts. Vexthar ordered close formation. Ships flew wing to wing, no gaps, no stragglers. Still the disappearances continued. Then scouts found something. Small, cold objects floated in the dark. Millions of them. They looked like old satellites, tiny and inactive. Sensors called them harmless. Vexthar laughed. Old junk, he said. Clear them if they block path. Gunners fired. Lasers cut through the swarm. Most objects vaporized. Some did not. They moved, they dodged, they returned fire. Tiny bursts of light too fast to track. One battleship took a hit. Its shield flared, then collapsed. Another hit followed. Engines died. The ship drifted dead. Panic spread. Vexthar ordered countermeasures. Point defense batteries spun up. They shot thousands of the small objects. Still more came. They poured from shadows, from asteroid belts, from gas giant rings. They moved at high speed. Some reached fractions of light speed. They punched through armor like needles through flesh. The Armada fought back. Big guns roared. Missiles flew. Counter swarms launched. But the small attackers never stopped. They rebuilt themselves from debris. They used pieces of destroyed Keltar ships. They grew stronger with every loss. Vexthar watched his fleet shrink. He felt helpless for the first time. Numbers meant nothing here. Patience won. The humans did not fight with honor. They fought with time. They fought with machines that waited centuries for this moment. Aboard one surviving cruiser, a science officer studied captured fragments. The small attackers used old human designs, self-replicating probes, seeded long ago. They slept until triggered. Now they woke hungry. They consumed rock and ice, and turned it into more killers. Vexthar understood then. Humanity never built a navy to match the Empire. They built something worse. Persistence. Machines that did not sleep. Machines that did not fear. Machines that multiplied. The voice returned. It spoke across the fleet again, calm and steady. We told you once. We will not tell you again. Leave or lose everything. This time it showed images. Images of Keltar ships breaking apart. Images of soldiers lost in madness. Images of worlds burning under their own fire. Some captains turned their ships. They fled without orders. Vexthar shot one himself. He executed the coward on the bridge. Others watched. They stayed. They fought. They died. Deeper in the system, Earth appeared on sensors, blue and small and quiet. The Armada closed in. They prepared the final push. Planet breakers charged. Planet killers aimed at the surface. Vexthar gave the order. Fire when ready. End this now. Before the first shot left the barrels, something new happened. Space folded. Light bent. Micro-black holes appeared. Small and hungry. They swallowed ships whole. One battleship after another fell into nothing. No scream, no explosion. Just gone. The humans had not stopped at drones. They had learned to twist gravity. They had built traps that ate fleets. The Armada fractured, groups scattered, command broke. Vexthar screamed orders. No one listened. A single transmission cut through the noise. No face appeared, just words in bright white. Humanity warns you, do not cross us. The words stayed on every screen. They burned into minds. They stayed even when power failed. Vexthar looked at the blue planet. He saw no fleets rise, no armies march. He saw only silence. The silence of a trap well laid. The silence of a people who planned for this day long before the Keltar knew their name. He gave the last order. Full retreat. All ships that can. Run. Save what you can. The survivors turned tail. They fled faster than they came. Many never made it. Hunter-killers followed. They chased. They killed. They left no witnesses. Back on the throne world, the Emperor waited. Reports came slow. Bad reports. Losses beyond count. The Grand Armada broken. The humans untouched. The Emperor sat quiet. His claws gripped the throne. He knew the truth now. The small ones did not fight like others. They did not seek glory. They sought survival. They sought to be left alone. And when crossed, they answered with everything. On Earth, people monitored the battle from hidden bunkers. They saw the retreat. They saw the swarms. They saw the black holes. They did not cheer. They worked. They prepared. They knew the Empire would try again, someday. Elena Voss stood in a control room. She watched screens show empty space where thousands of ships once flew. She spoke soft. This is what happens when you ignore a warning. The galaxy heard the story. Ships returned with broken crews. Tales spread fast. The Keltar lost more than ships. They lost certainty. Other races listened. They watched Saul. They wondered what lived there. What kind of mind built such quiet destruction? The borderline glowed brighter on new. Maps, a line drawn in silence. A line no one wanted to test again. For now the stars stayed calm. The humans stayed ready. The warning echoed still. Do not cross us. Word count 1,200. The Keltar Empire burned from the inside. The Grand Armada returned in pieces. Survivors told stories that made even the oldest warriors tremble. Ships gone without fight. Crews lost to madness. Entire fleets chased by shadows that never tired. The Emperor listened from his throne room. His claws dug into stone. He saw fear in the eyes of his advisors. He felt it in his own shell. This could not stand. The small humans must pay. He called for total war. Every shipyard worked day and night. New hulls rose, new weapons tested, new troops trained. Billions answered the call. They believed the tales of ghosts and voices were lies, weakness in the ranks. The Emperor promised glory. He promised revenge. He promised the end of Saul. The final fleet launched bigger than any before. Thousands of capital ships, millions of support craft, trillions in weapons and fuel. They moved as one dark tide across the stars. Admiral Vexthar led again. He carried fresh scars from the last defeat. Orders. No retreat. No prisoners. No mercy. Burn their worlds if needed. Bring back their heads. They crossed the border in force. Scouts swept ahead. Nothing stopped them. The Armada reached the outer edge of human space. Neptune passed. Saturn passed. Jupiter loomed. The gas giant rings hid nothing this time. Sensors showed clear paths. Vexar smiled. This time we overwhelmed them. Numbers win. Then the first trap sprang. Space rippled. Small points of darkness appeared. Micro-singularities born from nothing. They pulled in destroyers. They swallowed cruisers. Whole battle lines vanished into black voids. No sound. No light. Just gone. Vexar ordered evasive turns. Ships collided in panic. Engines flared. Shields failed. From the rings of Saturn swarms rose. Millions of tiny hunters. They moved faster than thought. They struck at engines, at sensors, at weapons. They rebuilt from the debris they took. They grew as they killed. The Keltar gunners fired blind. They hit their own ships in the chaos. Voices returned. Not one voice, many voices. They spoke in Keltar language. They spoke in old dialects. They spoke in whispers. You were warned. You chose wrong. Now pay. The words wormed into minds. They found fears. They found doubts. They found guilt buried deep. Warriors who never questioned orders now questioned everything. Some shot their officers. Some opened airlocks. Some stared at walls until they died. On the flagship bridge, Vexthar fought the voices. He clamped his mandibles tight. He focused on the blue dot ahead. Earth, small and fragile. He ordered full advance. Ignore the losses. Reach the planet. End it there. The Armada pushed through losses. They left burning hulks behind. They left silent ships drifting. They reached Earth orbit. The planet hung below. Clouds swirled. Oceans gleamed. Cities glowed under nightside. Vexthar felt victory close. He charged the planet breakers. They aimed at major population centers. One shot would crack the crust. Another would boil the air. Seize. Before the first beam fired, the sky filled with light. Relativistic impacts came from every direction. Small objects traveling at high fractions of light speed. They punched through shields. They tore hulls. They exploded inside reactors. Ships bloomed into fireballs, one after another. The command ship shook. Vexthar gripped his chair. A single transmission broke through. No face, no anger, just calm words. We told you, we will not tell you again. The screen showed live feeds. Keltar ships dying. Keltar soldiers turning weapons on each other. Keltar worlds receiving warnings of their own. The Emperor would see this soon. Vexthar screamed orders. Fire everything. Burn their world, but the weapons never fired. The planet breakers powered down. Circuits fried from inside out. Someone, or something, had rewritten the codes. The Armada lost control. Ships turned on each other. Lasers crossed. Missiles met in mid-flight. The swarms closed in. They targeted bridges. They targeted engines. Left, no escape. Survivors tried to run. They found hunter-killers waiting. They found black holes waiting. They found death waiting. Vexthar stood alone on his bridge. Most crew gone mad or dead. He looked at Earth. He saw no defenses rise, no fleets launch, no armies march, just quiet, just waiting. He understood now. Humanity did not need big ships. They did not need loud battles. They built traps over generations. They built minds that broke without touch. They built a will that never bent. He opened a channel. He spoke to whoever listened. We yield. We retreat. Let us leave. The answer came fast. No, you crossed us. You pay the price. The flagship shook. A final swarm hit. Engines died. Life support failed. Vexstar sat in the dark. He heard the voices one last time. Do not cross us. They faded as air thinned. Across the fleet, the last ships died. Some captains sent final messages. Home, we failed. The humans are not like us. They do not fight for conquest. They fight to never be conquered. Fight with patience that outlasts stars. The Emperor received the reports on his throne world. He watched feeds of his Grand Armada broken. He watched his admiral die. He watched his empire crack. He ordered scorched earth on his own border worlds. He feared human swarms would follow. He feared voices in every room. He feared shadows. Panic spread through Keltar space. Colonies rebelled. Old enemies attacked. Core worlds burned under their own defenses. The empire that took thousands of species fell in months, not from invasion, from inside, not from big guns, from quiet warnings ignored. On Earth, people watched from bunkers, from stations, from homes. They saw the final battle. They saw the retreat turn to rout. They saw silence return to space. No one danced. No one shouted. They worked. They repaired. They planned. They knew peace came at cost. Elena Voss walked outside for the first time in weeks. She looked up. Stars shone clean. She spoke to the night. Good. The galaxy changed. Maps redrew. A thin, sharp line circled human space. Dozens of light years deep. Inside Sol and quiet colonies. Outside everything else. No fleet crossed it. No scout tested it. The line stayed empty. Species whispered new words. Do not cross the humans. They learned from the Keltar mistake. They learned fast. The humans returned to normal life. They built ships. They raised children. They explored. They stayed inside their line. They asked for nothing. They gave nothing. They simply existed. And the stars respected that existence, because the alternative had been shown, and the alternative hurt too much. The warning stood eternal. Do not cross us. Word count 1,200. Months passed after the Grand Armada died. The Keltar homeworld looked different now. Smoke rose from ruined districts. Fires burned in palace gardens. The Emperor no longer sat on his throne. Guards dragged his body away after his own honor guard turned on him. They saw human shadows in every corner. They heard voices that never stopped. The voices told them the Emperor was the enemy. They believed it. They acted. Core worlds fell one by one. Rebellions sparked in colonies. Old slave races rose up. They remembered years of chains. They remembered quiet suffering. They saw the Empire weak. They struck fast. Ships that once enforced order now carried rebels. Weapons turned inward. Cities emptied as people fled to outer systems. The Keltar who survived hid. They changed names. They pretended to be other species. They lived in fear. The galaxy watched in silence. News traveled on hidden channels. Traders whispered in dark ports. Diplomats met in neutral stations. Thing, the mighty Keltar broken by a single small system. No grand invasion, no endless war, just warnings ignored and consequences delivered. Other empires paused. They looked at their maps. They looked at Sol. They drew new lines around their own borders. They spoke softer. They acted slower. A great conclave formed. Representatives from hundreds of species gathered on a neutral world far from Sol. They came to talk. They came to understand what happened. They sat in a huge hall under bright lights. They shared stories. They shared fears. One delegate from a bird-like race stood first. We have watched the fall of the Dominion. We have seen no fleet from Sol chase them. We have seen no conquest. We have seen only silence. What do they want? No one answered at first. Then a translator from a reptilian world spoke. They want nothing. They said, leave us alone. They meant it. The room grew quiet. Delegates looked at each other. They thought about their own borders. They thought about old grudges. Thought about expansion plans. Many plans died that day. A single courier drone arrived during the conclave. It carried no weapons. It carried no crew. It carried one message. The drone opened. A hologram appeared. Words in standard galactic script glowed bright. The border stands. Cross it, and the consequences will be permanent. We do not seek your empire. We do not want your tribute. We only want to be left alone. Then a new star chart appeared. A thin razor-sharp line circled human space, dozens of light-years deep. Inside the line, every known human colony glowed. Outside the line, the rest of known space. The line looked simple, yet it carried weight. No one laughed. No one questioned. Delegates copied the chart. They sent it home. They told their leaders, this line exists. Do not test it. The conclave ended quietly. Species returned to their worlds. They redrew treaties. They pulled back fleets. They watched Sol from far. They saw no aggression. They saw trade ships stay inside the line. Exploration probes turned back at the edge. They saw quiet strength. On Earth, life returned to normal. People walked streets. Children played in parks. Ships launched for new colonies inside the line. Scientists worked on new ideas. Engineers built better machines. No one spoke of war. No one prepared for invasion. They lived, they grew, they remembered. Elena Voss retired to a small house near the sea. She watched waves crash. She thought about the first meeting. She thought about the laughter. She thought about the voices. She thought about the swarms. She thought about the black holes. She smiled small. She knew the cost had been high. She knew the price had been paid. She knew peace held for now. Young students learned history. They read about the Keltar. They read about the warning. They read about the fall. They asked teachers why did they not listen. The teachers answered, pride, fear, ignorance. They crossed a line they did not understand. The students nodded. They understood themselves. Never ignore a warning. Never cross without thought. Explorers found new stars beyond the line. They sent probes. They found wonders. They found life. They found empty worlds. Yet they always returned. They never claimed. They never settled outside. They respected the line. They knew why it existed. Traders from other species approached the border. They sent messages. They asked permission. They traded goods at neutral points. They never crossed. They learned fast. The humans traded fair. They asked no tribute. They gave honest value. They stayed inside their space. Rumors spread through the galaxy. Stories of human patience. Stories of human cunning. Stories of human will. The stories grew. They became legends. Parents told children, do not anger the ones from Sol. They do not shout. They do not boast. They warn once, then they act. And when they act, empires fall. A new phrase entered every language. Do not cross the humans. It became proverb. It became law. It became truth. Taught it to young. They carved it on ships. They wrote it on walls. They whispered it in dark. They meant it. Years passed. The line stayed empty. No scout crossed. No fleet tested. No probe strayed. The galaxy healed. The Keltar remnants hid in shadows. They rebuilt small. They stayed quiet. They never spoke of Sol. They never looked that way. Humans explored deeper inside their space. They found beauty. They found challenges. They found home. They built cities on new worlds. They planted gardens. They raised families. They looked at stars and smiled. They knew safety. They knew freedom. They knew the price of both. One night, Elena Voss stood on her porch. She looked at the sky. Stars shone bright. She raised a glass to the dark. Thank you, she said, for listening this time. The galaxy moved on. Trade flowed. Science grew. Art flourished. Peace held. Not because of big treaties, not because of grand alliances. Peace held because one small species drew a line, and the rest of the galaxy chose to respect it. The warning echoed still. Do not cross us. It echoed in silence. It echoed in memory. It echoed forever. And for the first time in long history, an empire retreated not from glorious battle, but from a simple truth. Humanity had warned, and the galaxy had learned. The stars stayed quiet. The lines stayed drawn. The humans stayed ready. Peace continued. Word count 1,200.